Yo, what's up? What's up? This is your man, That's the Great, checking in once again. Let's get straight to it. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. For the first time, I'm actually going to be having a live conversation with another father out there who's going through a difficult time himself. Going to be bringing him in just shortly here. In the meantime, um, I guess I'll just say that I've gotten a great amount of feedback as far as a lot of the videos that I've done thus far. A lot of people have, reached out, said that they appreciate the content that I make. I appreciate all of you watching, and I'm not going to stop. But at this point, I definitely want to be able to broaden the audience because I know there's a lot of fathers out there going through some bullshit with women, and I'm hoping that I might be able to help shed a light on their stories and also, just discuss in real time. So let me see what we got going on here. I think that's my man Woody right there. Let me go ahead and bring him in. Let's
Okay.
see. Got you. There you go. There's my guy.
Uh,
What's going on, Woody?
all is well, bro. How's everything?
Hey man, ain't no complaints here, bro. Ain't no complaints. I appreciate you making time to speak with me, man.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
want to take up too much time talking myself. I know you've
Mhm.
seen some of my content, but
I have.
as I understand it, you are currently dealing with a difficult woman yourself, and you have your own testimony. Is that
I do.
correct?
I do. I
All right.
do.
So tell me what's going on with you, man.
Okay. Well, I consider myself a vet in the game now, bro. Not only am I
Okay.
dealing with one difficult woman, but I have three difficult women that I'm dealing with
Oh
as
damn.
far as baby mothers are concerned.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a
So
wealth of
how did it all
experience.
start? How did it all start?
Well,
Well, and every single one of every single one of your baby mamas are difficult. Every single one of them give you issues. Every single one.
yeah, in their own
Damn.
unique way, but when you look at it, man, it's not really any differences when you really peel back the layers. You know what I mean? It's like a similar playbook that they all use, and
That's a fact.
it's yeah, it's emotionally charged, it's emotionally based, and so you just once you learn the playbook, it's like that's when the similarities start being revealed to you. So you know,
Absolutely. Well, but give me a brief synopsis of your situation, then, man. I know you
okay,
already had two, and I believe you said there's one that is currently expecting currently, if I recall, or
yeah,
um,
I have three children, three baby mothers, and then I have one on the way with the most recent baby mom. So, she'll be the
so you
first one
doubled up with the third one.
that'll double up. Yeah, man.
Okay. Okay. All right. Bet. So,
Yeah.
all right. Like I said, I want you to be able to have this space to give your testimony as far as this entire ordeal. So,
Okay.
if you want to share, bro, just to share as much as you want,
Okay.
and I'll just take off on whenever you're done.
Okay. Sounds good. And feel free to cut in, at any point because it goes back a little while. So, if there's any points that you
Sure.
feel that need to be highlighted, you definitely take a pause on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just looking. I'm just trying to see what your story is because I've been pretty transparent about mine. Ain't I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's some parallels that we both dealt with. So
Yeah,
let me see
absolutely,
what's going
absolutely.
on your end.
Okay, yeah, and it's those parallels that kind of compel me to even reaching out to you because I mean when I saw your video about dealing with a difficult baby mama, I was like, man,
Yeah.
this resonates, this resonates. So
Fact, facts.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
um, yeah, my story goes way back. I've been a single father for my oldest son is 14 years old, so I've been in the trenches for at least that amount of time. Um,
Mm.
and I always knew that, it was early on with my situation with his mother that she got pregnant. I'd say about a month into me knowing her, maybe a month and a half, if I'm being gracious. But
Were y'all dating or was it casual? Was it casual or were y'all actually like trying to take each other seriously?
well, I always give the opportunity to see, if it's something that can be serious first. Um, she kind of fit the mold of a woman that I thought I would be attracted to initially, and someone that I thought I
Right.
might be able to build with. So, I did give that consideration. It's not like I was just out here willy nilly just trying to spread my seed. You know what I mean? It was,
Right. Yeah, I get
I
it. I
vetted her
get it.
to some degree, you know.
Got you.
And
Got you.
yeah, but you know, we realized early on that it wasn't going to work out, and you know, so we based on that,
Hmm.
we decided to part ways. And I'd say probably 3 weeks after we had made that decision, I got a phone call, you know, saying that she was pregnant. So it was just, you know, if I could have picked any one of the women that I was dealing with at that time, which was probably quite a few, um, I would have probably picked her last as far as someone that I thought that I could, you know, go the duration with. You know what I'm saying? And those be the ones though, you know.
That, that's generally how it works out, man. That's how it
Yeah,
works out. The one that's
yeah,
ultimately going to give you the hardest time,
yep,
that's the one that
yep.
you're going to end up having to deal with for real, for real.
That's
Yep.
it. That's it, bro. So you know, I just kind of, you know, pulled myself up by the bootstraps and you know, I went to her and I was just like, I understand we both kind of made a mutual decision that, you know, you and I aren't gonna be a thing, but you know, what I am gonna do is be a man of integrity and try to be there for our child as much as I possibly can. Um at that time I just
And that's
purchased my
commendable.
own.
That's
Yeah.
commendable in itself. Obviously, I took that exact
Mm-hmm.
same approach. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you said at
So
that time you had just purchased your house at that time too?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was a new homeowner at that time. This is like I said, like 15 years ago now. And so shoot, I was kind of strapped for cash. I'm not even gonna lie to you, you know what I mean? But you know, the thing that I told her was, you know, wherever I fall short as far as, you know, being able to do things, you know, monetarily, I'm gonna trade off with my time. You know what I mean? So it's like I told her just
Right.
straight from the jump, I'm gonna be there physically, you know, and I hope that you find that to be of equal value. You know, I'm gonna be there physically for this
Mhm.
child, you know. And I stood on that. I stood on that, you know. I was there at all the prenatal appointments. You know, I was
Perfect.
there reading to him, you know, when he was fresh out the womb. I mean, I would come over there after work and just spend as much time as I possibly could with him. Because I had this underlying sense that at some point this thing is gonna go left. And so I want to make sure that I'm sowing the seeds now, you know, to show that my track record is impeccable. Cause, you know, I got
Exactly.
wind, you
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got wind of the
So I'm
game.
curious. You said I, I don't mean to cut you off. You did mention at
Nah,
one
it's
point.
not.
You said you already could see that it potentially could go left at some point. What was it that led you to feel that way with that particular woman?
Well, it
Was
was
she
her
already
person.
was she already doing anything like that make you seem like all right? At some point, she might start trying to keep my kid from me or anything like that.
She had that energy, man. It was I thought it was something I was attracted to at first, you know, because she had the resume on paper. She was educated, you know what I mean? She was pursuing her
Uh-huh.
master's degree at the time, you know,
Right.
and so I'm thinking like maybe from a financial standpoint, she and I could, you know, potentially be a power couple. But you know, that's just a pipe dream that they tried to sell us back in the day, you know, as far as, you know, us being partners or on an even tier, because in any effective relationship there's got to be a leader and there's got
Yeah.
to be a follower, you
Yeah.
feel me? Yeah, so I just knew that we were going to
That's a
butt
fact,
heads
man.
because yeah, she wasn't trying to relinquish power, you know, she wasn't
Oh,
trying to
so
yield.
she's one of the modern women that exude a lot of masculine energy. They don't want the man to be
Yeah.
the leader. They want to be
Mm-hmm.
lockstep, foot and foot. Or we
Yeah,
both no, you're not the leader. We're partners, like you
right.
said. Yeah, I
It's
get it.
that P word.
I get it.
Yep,
I
yep.
get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
man. So,
I
you
get it.
know, I knew from that, you know, that was one of the basically one of the reasons why we had parted ways, and it was at her initiation to you know, for the most part, she was just like, I'm pursuing my career and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I don't feel like being locked into a relationship. So, I mean, it was her, you know, that really was
Huh.
like, yeah, you know. So I was just rolling with it, you know, and so that's kind of how we came to
Okay.
be. But like I said, I was there for everything early on, and you know, there was an incident that came up maybe about 2.5 months into after he was born, where she had overdosed on some antipsychotic medication.
Oh,
And yeah, I didn't know that she was even on antipsychotic meds at the time. I knew that, you know, she had these emotional fluctuations, but, you know, I just chalked it up to her being a woman, you know. I just didn't know how deep the
right.
rabbit hole went at that time, you know. So
Right.
I was contacted by my son's pediatrician saying that she had been hospitalized for an overdose one day when I
Damn.
was at work, and so
Okay.
that was kind of when everything went left. So you know,
Understandably.
yeah,
So what did you
yes.
do when that occurred? Well, what was your mindset
Um,
when that occurred? When you heard that she had OD'd on some pharmaceuticals, what was your mindset at that point? Like,
mhm.
were you thinking, all right, I need to get primary custody, or what were you thinking?
Well, in my mind at that immediate moment, I was like, I need to get my son. And I need to get, I was just thinking of that moment when I
Correct.
received the phone call. So I left work early.
Yeah.
I made a beeline over to her mother's house where she was staying at the time. And I literally just walked into the door and took my son up out of there. And so I was, in that, during those times, I was a bit more reactive. I didn't really, think things through as much as I do now as as an older, more experienced person. But I was just like, man, I gotta get this boy up out of there. And so that's what I did. I physically just
Understood.
walked into her mama's house and took my kid. So based on that, there was a letter that I received from my son's pediatrician who had reached out to me initially. So I was able to kind of use that to hold her at bay for about a week or so. So I had
Okay.
him, in my care exclusively for that, 7-day period or so. She, of course, tried to call the police. She came over with the police, a day or two later. I showed them the letter. Um, they looked at her, was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, there's nothing we can do. You know what I mean? So, because when there is no custody established, nobody really can say you can't have your child. You know what I mean? The child essentially
Right.
belongs to the state. When you sign the birth certificate, but you all have not established custody, the child belongs to no one but the state. So it's,
At that point, had you already signed the birth certificate?
I had, yeah, I had,
You had.
yeah,
Huh. Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yet
So
you said that even though you had signed a birth certificate, there was no obligation for them to allow the child to go with you, seeing as you were the father of record on the birth
no,
certificate.
there was no
Well, what
obligation
state are
for.
you in, Woody? I forgot to ask you that.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I'm in D.C., man, Washington D.C.
Oh, okay.
Nation Scat. Yeah.
Got you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So no, there was no obligation for them to remove the child from my home once I had taken him. So that was the thing. So it was like the child belonged to nobody. So she didn't really have any leg up at the time.
Got
Um,
you.
yeah, so that letter ultimately kind of kept her at bay for the next, I say 10 years or so. So we had, but based on that incident, we drew up well, I drew up an agreement, a custody agreement from that point forward that we would just share custody. So it was a 50-50 arrangement that I drew up the contract for. We both signed it, got it notarized, and that's pretty much how we lived up until age 10 or 11.
How long ago did you draw up that particular agreement? That was 10 years ago,
Um,
or no? You said it lasted for 10 years with you.
yeah.
Or did you have primary custody, or how was the custody divided for that 10 year period that you spoke of?
For that 10-year period, it was joint, straight down the line.
Okay.
You know, now based on how things had kind of worked itself out over the years, I wound up having maybe a slight advantage. Maybe it was like 55% to her 45%.
Right.
But the agreement basically stated 50-50. And so that's kind of, for the most part, how we managed it for those first, however many years.
I'm just
Um,
curious. Was that due to you being just a good hearted dude, like, or was it just determined that y'all were gonna have 50-50? Because I know some situations where, God forbid, a woman had an OD, an
mhm.
issue like that, and kind of the man has all the leverage in a situation like that. At least that's what I've seen. But in that scenario, is it just that you weren't trying to even have primary custody? You just decided, listen, we all make mistakes. You made a really bad mistake here, but you still deserve to have 50-50 custody. Was that how that went? Or was it just more so a thing that the state determined that y'all would still have 50-50 custody?
Well, the thing was is that I just abhorred the state and the presence of the state in my family matters, and
Yeah,
so, I
same.
was
Yeah,
determined to not go through the state to make this arrangement, and so, in
understandable.
my mind, I'm thinking that this is the best way to avoid a fight is just to say, hey, let's do it joint,
Got you.
work it out between the two of us, and just let it ride. But then I had that letter in my back pocket
Completely.
from the pediatrician in case, she, felt
Right.
froggy on the jump. You know what I mean? So,
Facts,
yeah.
facts. Okay, so that's so. And is that the same situation to this day as far as that particular woman? Like y'all already have the understanding, but I know that. Oh, it's not. Is that not the
No,
same?
no, no, no. Like I said, that held me down for about 10 years, but now I gotta segue into my daughter, whom I had about 5 years after that. Um,
Okay,
yeah, so that was a whole different beast, and that's the one that really kind of took me through the ringer. I actually had custody
different
of my
woman.
daughter. Yeah, different woman, different woman.
Okay,
Of course, she presented herself, and men fall into this trap of being too open too soon when they're, introducing another woman into their lives a lot of times, and I'm certainly
open in
guilty
what
of
way?
that. Open in
Open
terms of the
in
sense
which way?
of what I had already experienced with my first son's mother. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep.
you get the pillow talking with them and telling them, your problems, and and they just over there taking notes. You know what I
Uh-huh. Yep, yep. They listen to
mean?
everything you tell them just so they can have that perfect representative on display
Hmm.
to make it
That's
seem
it.
like that's what you're looking for. Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So I,
So what happened with this particular woman? Okay,
man, I created the perfect storm. I'm gonna tell you that much.
okay.
Because like I said, well, like you said, the representative that she presented to me was the one that I created. That's that one I helped her
Mm-hmm.
create by telling her what I was lacking. And
Right.
yeah, so she played the role for a little bit, but they can't stay in character for too long. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So yeah, she played the role for I say about a year and a half or so,
Okay.
and yeah, then she winded up getting pregnant herself. So I was like, oh well, here we go. Um, I had high hopes initially because the mask hadn't completely fell off at that point. So I was thinking this one's gonna be different.
Right.
We get charged a lot of times, especially as men with baby mothers. I've had the charge levied at me like, oh yeah, you need to choose better. I've heard that from
Yeah, but that's bullshit though. That's
it is
bullshit.
bullshit.
When you're already a perceptive man and you know what to look for in a woman, you can't help
Hmm.
it if even though you vetted over the course of many months, you can't
Hmm.
help it if this woman has been feeding you a facade. That's
Exactly.
as a man, what more can you do other than go with what you're being shown? I,
That's
I
it.
mean, that's yeah,
That's it.
that's kind of a catch 22. People say, "Oh, you got to choose better." I know how to choose. I dealt with enough women.
Right.
I know how to choose a woman. It
Hmm.
just sometimes it's more complicated than that. But
It is. It
go on, man.
is.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, no, please feel free. But yeah, so things were kind of going relatively smoothly for the first, I'd say, 6 months after my daughter was born. Because I
Okay,
had, of course, taken the time to integrate this new woman into my son's life. And
right.
so, he had developed a rapport with her, and I'm thinking everything was cool. And just, things started unraveling after a while. It became difficult because, this time she was kind of staying with me. And I had never
Okay,
really stayed with a woman before, so but I was so determined to have this new situation not be like the first one. I was just like, I'm gonna try to do
right.
everything the right way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had her staying with me, but after a while, like I said, about 5, 6 months, I ain't even want to come home, man. Like I was taking the long way home. Like seriously. Um,
Oh
Staying out to
man.
the wee hours, playing ball till after dark, till everybody else is gone. Like I'm just shooting by myself at certain points. Um,
So it was
it was
tumultuous at home. It was
yeah.
what was it what was going on between y'all two at that time? What was the biggest issue that y'all were having that made you feel like that with that particular woman?
Well, the biggest issue was another thing that I hadn't realized was that she was dealing with some psychological issues of her own. And, it's one thing to call somebody a narcissist. You hear that term thrown around a lot
Women
these
say that a
days.
lot. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's their
Hmm.
word, and
That
at
is
that
their
point,
word.
I hadn't even heard of the term before, so I didn't even know what it was until her mom reached out to me, and told me some things,
Hmm.
and I was like, "This is an interesting conversation." So, but I kind of, let that conversation, chill for a minute and just still try to, see what I could do as far as working things out, and it was just whatever I tried, nothing worked, and so fast forward about another what? 12 months or so. So baby girl was about 18 months at the time. Um, my baby
Okay.
moms had flown out to California. That's where her family is from. She had another daughter at the time,
Mm.
an older daughter, and she's flying out to California to stand trial against her mom for custody of her oldest daughter. And I was like, huh, that kind of struck me as peculiar. I was like, why would the mom be trying to take your
Dictate the
daughter from
daughter.
you? Yeah, you know what I
Right.
mean? So I'm just like, okay, this is a little weird. But at that time, I was still kind of under the spell. And I was just like thinking, like, man, yeah, that's messed up. Or your mom trying to do something like that. You know, I had no idea, again, how deep the rabbit hole went. And
Yeah.
once the trial was over, she basically lost custody of her oldest daughter to her mother. And that's when
Oh,
her mother really laid it on me. She had flown out there with my baby girl, so she was out there where I was thinking that she was just going to be there
oh,
for a few days and she'll be right back.
yeah.
Next thing I know, 2, 3 weeks had passed and she's still not back with my daughter. So her mother reached out to me and was like, yeah, by the way, my daughter has a personality disorder, an antisocial personality disorder.
Oh,
And
wow.
I, again, had no idea what that was. So of course I did, my research on that, and I found out that she's like a sociopath. That's just like a dressed up term for what a sociopath is. Sociopath slash narcissist. Um, so, at that point, she was just like, you know what? You need to get your daughter because, her mama's out here hanging around the wrong types of people, doing the wrong types of things. Your daughter, she's leaving her with me half the time. And she don't even
Oh,
call me,
man.
let me know when she's coming back. Like it was, yeah. So all this is information I'm getting from her mother, about my baby mother. You
And
know what
you're
I'm
in
saying?
DC at this time?
And I'm in DC. Yeah.
Damn. You all the way across the damn country.
Yep.
She got your daughter over here in California, or
Hmm.
actually, you don't really know who got your daughter because she's leaving her with your mom. Your mom's letting listen, she's hanging
Hmm.
out with some unscrupulous people. You need to get here and get your child. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn,
So,
that's
and that was the
crazy. Okay.
call. Yeah. And so that was my first kind of foray because, with her insistence, she was like, you need to get your daughter and you need to go to court. That was what she
Right.
said.
Right.
And as much as I hated court, I was like, man, I guess you're right because I can't just go and take her and then come back here and think that everything's going to be sweet. I'm sure she's going to be coming back and trying to, make war with me about this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I did. I flew out there under the cloak of darkness, met with her mom, got my baby girl, and flew back. in
Oh,
a
so
in a
you went and got your daughter and just got up out of there.
Yeah, got her up out of there. This is within a 24-hour period. I flew out there, got baby girl, headed back. And that morning that I got off the plane, she and I went straight to the courthouse and filed an emergency custody order.
So
So
when did you hear from the mother then? I'm guessing when she realized y'all's daughter was gone,
yeah,
she wasn't
yeah.
too happy about that.
Right, right. So, I'd gotten the emergency custody order granted. So I had temporary full custody of my daughter as an 18-month-old girl. And it kind of just went from there. So her mother came back, I'd say about a month later. And that's when the real action started as far as my court experience. So I was in family court from this was 2016. I was in family court till about 2018 when they made
Yeah.
their first deliberation. And in between that time there was like literally 9 temporary court orders. So it was just like they were
9?
giving her 9. So you can
Wow.
imagine the expense, having to go through all of that. And
Uh,
basically what it all centered around was them giving her chances to look better than what she was looking like. You know what I
they,
mean? It was
they
just like,
they give the mother unlimited chances, man. They
yeah,
give the mothers unlimited fucking chances to,
yep,
to prove that they can be decent.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they give the man maybe one or two tops.
Mm-hmm, 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 and you're done.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
they, they
So
quit with us. They're quick with
yeah,
us.
for sure.
Okay, so all right, so you had 9 um different
Temporary.
temporary, and
Mm-hmm.
then so what was the ultimate deliberation then? I guess once it, or was there like an ultimate solution to the issue between y'all
There
two?
was. There was an ultimate solution. After the 9 and throughout the 9 temporary orders, I maintained primary custody.
Gotcha.
Um, And then ultimately, after spending a shit ton of money, I basically got a board certified psychiatrist to testify. That alone cost me 10 grand for him to speak on
Wow.
personality disorders. I mean,
Yeah,
I
once
really
you
had to
said
go
that,
in.
I knew that was gonna be some bread that you
Oh
had
yeah,
to.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because like you
whoa.
said, on one of your on one of the videos regarding baby mothers, like you literally have to prove the woman unfit by beyond a
Yeah.
reasonable doubt. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
without a
So
shadow of doubt. You have to be
yeah,
able to prove that they are just completely unfit as a mother. Just for the
yep,
court to give you something that you shouldn't have had to fight half as hard for. But yeah,
exactly, exactly.
damn. So I'm guessing from what you're saying that you ultimately were awarded the primary custody for your daughter.
Yeah, I was. I was.
And is that still
So
the case? Do you still have her
that that lasted.
majority?
Yeah, well, that lasted until she was 9 years old. She's now 10 years old. So it just as of recently, and that kind of segues my first baby mama back into the mix. After about 6 years of me doing that, raising my daughter, and just her going to visit her mom, every other weekend.
Yeah.
Um, she got the bright idea to join forces with my son's mom.
Oh God.
Yeah, so that's when things took a
How
turn,
did that even occur? How did that link up even occur though?
Well, in my infinite wisdom, I initially tried to get them to be friends, when I first.
Uh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so when I
So you
first
tried to
started
get
dating
them
my
to be
daughter's mother,
friends.
I was
Okay.
like, yeah, let me not have my son's mother so angry. Let me just see if they can, have this kumbaya moment and just be cool. You know what I mean? But of
You're right.
course, that didn't it
Right.
didn't work out. They hated each other at that time. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it was
wow.
only yeah, they hated each other. But it was only when they decided to join forces against me in court that they were all of a sudden buddies. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, the enemy of my enemy
yep,
is my
is my
friend.
friend. That's it. That's it. Yeah, so here I
Okay.
am right back in court, but now not only am I fighting one, I'm fighting two with two separate
Damn.
cases at the same time, simultaneously. You
And
know,
what exactly were they trying to bring you to court for that in that particular scenario? Like what was oh wait a minute. So all right, so I know you already had primary custody of your daughter, but
hmm
as far as your first baby mama, what was
hmm
she trying to accomplish? Like, because y'all already had 50-50, right? With
yeah,
the
we
first
already
baby
had
mama.
50-50 that was outside of the court,
So what was
but
she trying to fight for exactly as
she
far as
was
the
she
courts are concerned?
she was trying to fight for power. She was trying to
Of
fight for
course.
power. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So at that time, this was like 2020, going
Okay.
into 2021. Um, she was adamant about vaccinating my son with the COVID vaccine. And,
Oh,
my
shit.
daughter's mother knows, my stance on it. I wasn't with it. That was just my position. And I was like, nah, let's keep him away from that. And she was like, no, she wanted to get it. And so that was
Okay.
her
Could you,
hot
hey,
button
Woody, could you
issue.
repeat that one more time? I think it was
Okay.
breaking up a little bit. You said, well, all right. I know you said that your first baby mama wanted to get the vaccine, but what you
Hmm.
said after that, the second one wanted to do the same with your daughter, or I didn't hear
No,
that
no.
part.
No, I was saying that my first baby mother, my son's mother, wanted my son to get the vaccine. I didn't want him
Okay.
to get the vaccine. And so,
Right.
yeah, so they came up with this roundabout way to, usurp, power from me relating to that. There was also another incident where maybe a few years prior, like in late 2019, that I pushed my son down. A knee-jerk reaction because they had played a little prank on me, made it seem like they had busted the TV. He threw a ball into the TV or something like that. So, being reactive at the time, I just pushed him down. I didn't hurt him or anything, but the
Mhm.
fact that I pushed him down, was enough to, I guess, once my daughter's mother got wind of the story, she took it down to my son's mother and was like, yeah, 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 let's get him on some type of abuse charge. You know
Oh,
what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. So that was
so
that
so
was
she
the
heard it from your son told her that you pushed her down, pushed him down, or
she heard
how
no,
did
she heard it
how
from
did
my
they get
daughter's
back
mother.
to her?
She heard it from my daughter's mother because I
Ah,
guess my daughter had mentioned it to her just in casual
ah,
conversation. And then so she now takes it to my son's mom, was like, yeah, we got a case, you know. So that was the,
Oh man.
yeah, so that's when they joined forces. Because I guess she figured if she can weaken me, you know, by going through my son's mother, then she can
Right.
somehow gain some leverage in her situation as well. You know, so that's when she filed. It's like they filed within a month of each other, you know. So you know, that's when I was fighting them both at the same time, bro. And that was some difficult shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that sounds like a very difficult situation. I mean, it's hard
Yeah.
enough with just one constantly trying to
Hmm.
fight you. So
Hmm.
yeah, I can't imagine two women who feel like they're scorned in some way
Hmm. Oh man, man.
coming at you with the barrels loaded.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
It was the
So
real deal.
so how long ago was that? How long ago was that particular situation?
This was like I said, like 2021, when it trickled into 2022, and then I finally closed them both out in the summer of last year, 2023. So that was like
Wow.
another 3-year ordeal between the two of them, you know.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, and in the midst of all that, of course, I had my third child, my youngest baby boy, my 4-year old. You know, so he was kind of there, you know, in the background for a little bit. But the thing about him was his mom was really helping me out with my first two kids. You know, so she was
Oh,
very,
okay.
yeah, she was very kind of hands-on and instrumental in terms of helping to kind of ease the burden on me so I could, you know, do things like go to work or maybe work a little bit more. And then she would be at the house to be able to hold them down, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they
that's
winded up pulling her into the
that's very
mix.
helpful.
It was helpful, you know,
Oh shit.
initially. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, this
So
shit is crazy. Okay.
I'm telling you, I can
All
write a
right.
book, man.
So
But
they ended up pulling her into the mix as well.
mhm, yeah,
So
yeah.
so she had something that she's unhappy about as well. Something that she doesn't like the way things were going. She wants power as well over you, or like
Well, no,
what's her
that
deal?
really wasn't it. They kind of dragged her in on the other side, meaning they were kind of fighting against her. So they had kind of levied some accusations against
Ah,
her in
okay.
terms of how, you know, she was treating my daughter.
How she was
And
treating the kids. Okay.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like they pulled her into my cases. And so because of that, you know, of course she's looking at me crazy now, like, now I got to deal with your crazy baby mamas and they saying all this stuff about me, you know what I mean? So that created conflict between she and I, you know. So now it's like I'm at odds with all three of them, man.
One question I forgot to ask you throughout all of this, bro. Were you still
Mhm.
smashing either one of the other two at any
No,
point throughout the ordeals?
yeah, there
As
was there was
as
a, there
far as
was a slight break in the action because I'd kind of been hands off of my son's mom for the longest, and
okay,
with my daughter's mom, it was definitely, yeah. Once I went out to Cali and got my baby girl, it was just, it was no way we was, jumping back into that arena. But once
okay,
I
good,
had
good, good.
just prior to the my third son being my second son being born, my third child being born, I had to kind of
Yeah,
double back, with his mom, trying to make peace the old fashioned way, you know what I mean? But so I dipped
yeah,
back in that, but that didn't do nothing but make her more emotional, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah. That's the
so that was the
thing.
nicest,
Yep.
nicest she had treated me in some years. I ain't gonna lie, during that brief period, I say of about 3 months or so. Um, but then after that fizzled out, she went
That
right back to being, combative. So it bought me
and
just
that's the
a
second baby
moment of
mama.
peace. No, that's my first.
The
That's my
second.
son's mom. My first one. That's
Oh,
my
the first
my
one.
oldest son's mom. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it just brought me a moment of peace. But, like I say, once we stopped, she was right back to
Of
beefing
course.
again. So yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I can relate all too well to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you had you had your second son with uh your third baby mama.
Right. Right. Right.
Has
So
she? But for the most part, with your third baby mama, has she? Well, I know you're also expecting another child with her currently.
right.
Um, so I'm guessing that everything with her is okay, or no?
No, it's not okay. It's not
The
okay. But
third.
we have these moments of peace.
Okay.
where I kind of
Damn.
allow
Okay.
myself to get lulled to sleep, you know what I mean, and forget the moments of chaos. Um, and so, it wasn't really any intention, of course, to have a second child with her, but it's just one of them situations, kind of didn't time things, best I could, got a little lax. And when enough time passes and you don't have no scares, you think you're invincible, you know what I mean? So
Right. Right. You figured it out. You got it down to a science. You
yep,
figured you got
yep.
that shit down to a science.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how that happened,
Nope. Nope.
But yeah, so we continue to clash even to this day about, the other two, my first two baby mothers, dragging her into the mix, you know what I mean, and kind of smearing her name, and so because of that, it's like
Damn.
I can't even really have her around, at least my daughter, without my presence, because that was what I had to agree to, with her mom in order to, kind of settle out of court. Because I ran out of money to fight, my daughter's mother. And that was her
Yeah.
intention, so I had to agree to those terms, basically she can't be around my daughter can't be around my third baby mother without my presence. And so that's continued
And
to
why is that?
create
Because
extreme
they allege
because of
that she
the,
did something.
yep, yep.
Go
Grabbed my
ahead. I'm sorry.
daughter's arm or something when she was brushing
They
her
allege
teeth.
that she somehow was doing something.
Yep, yeah,
Say that
yeah.
again.
They
I'm
alleged
sorry.
that they had alleged that she had grabbed my daughter's arm when she was brushing her teeth or
What you
something.
say? You said something about brushing teeth. I didn't hear that part.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, they just had
Oh,
alleged
okay.
she had grabbed her arm or something like that. When my daughter was brushing her teeth. Um, yeah, it was.
Hmm.
You know, something minor,
Wow.
but of course they made it
Wow.
something major because you know how the court is very dramatic. It's
Yep.
they pull on the heartstrings, you know what I mean? So it don't matter what facts you present a lot of times, if they get in there and get the boo hooing, then
So your daughter can't be around her.
without me being present.
Your daughter can't be around her unless you're present. Gotcha.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Damn. Damn. Damn.
yeah. And so that's
Damn.
the
All right.
stipulation. So it's
So,
like now I can't leave her with
are
them.
you still together? Are you still together with your third baby
Mm,
mom? Are you still together with her
Technic
or no?
technically no, but it's because we haven't
Okay.
gone through the court system, because I'm trying not to go through the court system, we're playing the game. I guess we both playing the game to a degree. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
keep the peace and trying to keep it cool and trying to still be present, for all these prenatal appointments, same way, you know.
You're doing the right thing, man. You're doing the right thing. You're trying your best to play the game the right way.
Hmm, hmm.
Unfortunately, this game is stacked against us as men.
It is. It
You're
is.
doing
It is.
everything you're supposed to do. You're doing
Yeah,
everything you're supposed to do, man. And you're being a
I'm trying.
stand-up man, which is always commendable, man. Always
Yeah,
commendable.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And the thing
So where
that
you at
I
right
want
now with
to,
it then as far as oh
as
go
far as
ahead. I'm
what?
sorry.
Oh no, no, please. You
No,
said where
no,
am I
go
at
ahead.
right now? Oh, okay, okay. Well, the thing I wanted to kind of point out is that they need you to be a deadbeat in order to do the things to you that they have planned to do.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
understand?
yeah.
So, it's like if you're the opposite of that, then it boils the blood, and because now the spotlight shifts and it's just like the spotlight turns to them and it's like, okay, well, what's wrong with you? Why are y'all not together? This man is, doing a commendable job. What's your issue? So that's the reality that they don't want to face. And so it burns them up inside.
I agree. I
Yeah.
completely agree. Unfortunately, when you're doing everything that you're supposed to do as a father, as a
Mm-hmm.
man, it like you said, if you're doing everything, if you're going above and beyond for your
Mm-hmm.
child, it tends to make them look a little bit worse if they're not reciprocating that and doing the same thing themselves.
Mhm.
And I don't really
Exactly.
know why, but like you said, for some reason, they want you to drop the ball as a father.
Hmm,
They want you to
hmm.
do something. They want you to do something where they can shine a light on it and say, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
he ain't shit. He ain't doing this.
Yeah.
He ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing." But if you don't
That's
give
it.
them that grace to be able to say that, it drives
Hmm.
them nuts for some
It
reason. Like
does.
that's the part
It
that
does.
doesn't make sense to me because I
Mm,
would think that a woman would want a man to be an exceptional father. I don't get
mm.
that part. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I
like I
don't know,
said,
man.
that's the rationale that I've come up with. When you are exceptional, it only does, a disservice to them because it points the spotlight at them, because now women have to start explaining why you're not with them, you know, and
Exactly. And then they got to start looking at all of their shortcomings. And no
that's
woman
it.
wants to take accountability or
Nope.
actually look at any of their own shortcomings. Somehow, some way, it has to be the man's fault. It's got to be the man's
Hmm.
fault some way.
Yep, that's
Unfortunately,
it.
that's just not how it is. That's just not the case. That's just not the truth.
It's not. It's
So,
not.
so
But you
how
got to
how
be.
how long until you're expecting your most? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah, no. It should. She should be on the way in about 3 weeks. So we in the home stretch. I've been
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, three
Yeah.
weeks.
You
During
know
this
what
time,
gender? What gender you're
yeah,
having?
yeah, it's gonna be a baby girl, baby girl. So my
Okay.
youngest son will have a
Well,
little
congrats.
little
That's
sister
awesome.
to look after. Yeah, appreciate that. But
Awesome.
I already see where this thing is going. It's like I've been I've been
Where's it
having to
going?
like. Oh man, I've been having to be an investigator to even pop up at these prenatal appointments. I mean, she was pissed that I popped up at the last one because she be trying to go into
Oh,
the appointments without me so that I
what?
can go along with the narrative of, oh, he wasn't there. So it's like you gotta,
Wow.
yeah, like I said,
And she's been
they don't
that,
want you
that's a
to, they
real dirty
need you
game.
to be there. Yeah, yeah, they
God, that's
need you
dirty.
to be a deadbeat. They need it.
I just don't get that, man. That
Yeah.
and it's that kind of shit that makes my blood boil because
Hmm.
you're trying to be there, you're trying to be actively involved in every single aspect of the process, and yet she
Hmm.
won't even tell you when and where the appointment is. So you got to figure this shit out by yourself and show
Yeah.
up because you
Yep.
want to be involved. This is your child,
Hmm. Hmm.
but she want to be able to tell them when they get here. So your daddy wasn't even there when I was in this appointment.
That's it. That's it.
That's bullshit. That's crazy. That shit crazy.
Yeah, it really
That's
is, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. And you
So,
got sound. It definitely sounds like you got your hands full. So you, God. So every single one of your baby mamas at this point
mm,
is is they have their own. Each one has their own issue,
hmm,
and it's still tumultuous with the first two as well now, or have y'all came to any kind of understanding? Uh, no. Okay.
no,
Uh,
no, no. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for me to slip again so they can, you know, march right back in there, And I mean, it's just, I guess it's gonna be like this until they're grown. You know,
yeah.
I I, I wish that it wasn't, but I'm not jaded anymore. I'm like I said, I'm a war torn vet. So I mean, I can see that this thing ain't really gonna be simmering down. So
Yeah,
you
you
know,
done served a few tours at this point,
yeah,
man.
yeah, for sure.
Damn,
So
that's crazy. That's crazy,
yeah,
man.
I focus on stoicism now. As an older man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
you
glad you
got
said
it.
that. That's,
You
that's what I
gotta be
preach,
stoic.
man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I preach. Discipline and stoicism as a man. I mean, you're gonna
Yep.
be thrown. You're gonna face a whole lot of obstacles,
Mm-hmm.
especially in situations where you're dealing with a very difficult, contemptuous woman. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna face a lot of obstacles, but you can't react off of emotion. As
No,
a man, you
man.
have to be stoic. You have to stay even keeled, even when she is just doing the most off the wall bullshit
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of the child.
Yeah.
I know I have to remain even keeled. I
Yeah.
can't I can't react emotionally because
Mm-mm.
the court system don't have no fucking love for a man. I don't care.
None.
I don't care how good of a father you are. And I've learned it the hard way by being in court.
Mm.
Kind of like you said, probably not as many times as you, but I've been in court about eight, 9 times.
Mm.
And
Right.
the last time I was in court earlier, I told the judge straight up, I'm like, Your Honor, I provided proof of everything that I do for my child. I'm actively involved in her life. I have her every bit as much, if not
Mm.
more, than her
Mm-hmm.
mother does.
Mm.
I do all this. I pay for everything. I'm an exceptional father. I do everything for her. And yet,
Mm.
even still, you will sit here and you will rule in her favor just because she's a
Mm.
damn woman. So
Wow.
I'm not gonna waste my breath even trying to even go. Like, it's no point because I try to do things to be proactive, but they're never
Mm-hmm.
gonna rule in my favor. So at
Mm.
the very best, the best I can hope for at the end of the day is for everything to be 50-50 even. So that's what we got. That's what we've been having.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've been trying to push for it to lean more, and my favorite scene is I do far more for my daughter than her mother does.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter. As a man, you just have to go above and beyond just to
Yep.
get anywhere near an even playing field. And
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't like that, but in Florida, it's like that. Sounds like in
Hmm.
DC, it's the same damn way.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's
Same thing.
crazy.
Yeah. So,
It's
like I
crazy.
said, I've been on both sides. Like, I raised my daughter essentially up until last year. So I've been a primary custodian. Now I have a joint arrangement with her mother. I have a joint arrangement with my oldest son's mother. So it's 50-50 for both of them. And, I'm just,
Cool.
I'm settling up on this 50% and just letting it ride out. At least they can't, rape you for your finances at that point. As long as it's a 50 split, then you're good on that.
Do you pay child support?
No, I don't.
Do you have to
And
pay child support? So
no,
you got it made then. You have it made. In
yeah,
Florida, bro, it's bullshit down here. I
man.
don't care if you got 50-50 custody. If you make way more than the mom,
Mm,
they are in your fucking pockets.
wow.
And that's the thing. She has it made. I
Mm,
have my daughter, like I said, every bit as much as her.
mm,
I I have her 15 to 16 days out of every month.
mm,
We have equal custody. She's not the primary
mm,
custodial parent. Obviously, we have
mm,
equal custody. I
mm,
do more. I pay for everything. Make sure my daughter
mm,
wants and needs for nothing in this world. And
mm,
yet, on top of all that, and the fact that I'm the fucking super dad, which
mm,
I take great pleasure and pride in being, because I love
right,
my daughter more than life itself. But so I'm
right.
cool with that. But
Mm,
in addition to that, what pains me is the fact that I also had to pay this woman child
man.
support on top of all the things that I do,
Oh,
which is crazy. Doesn't
it
make
is
any sense. But in Florida, that's just the way it is.
wow.
50-50 doesn't matter.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you don't have to pay child support. So that's one feather in your cap, that at least you don't have to pay additional money on top of already
Mhm.
doing everything that you do, which is
Yeah. I mean,
that's the only
I
pro.
still took my losses, and I figured that I'd rather pay my attorneys than pay them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Much
Yeah.
rather give the money to my attorneys than pay these women that's trying to break up my household and all that kind of stuff. So it's just you're gonna pay one way or the other. It's just you got to decide who you're gonna pay. In my
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah. In Florida, you're
I
gonna do
could have
both.
taken my yeah.
You're gonna do both down here.
Yeah. And see, I could have taken my daughter's mother for child support for those 8 years that I raised my daughter, but I didn't. You know what I mean?
Right, because it just don't feel right as a man
It
to be
don't feel
getting
right.
child support. I
Yeah,
feel
it
you.
don't feel
I
right,
feel you.
So I stood
I
on
feel
that
you, man.
principle, and I would have hoped that, that would have been something that would have been returned to me in terms of, grace that I extended. But, nah,
Hmm.
it's a dirty game, man. So you just,
Very dirty. Very
yeah,
dirty, man. Well, I just want to salute you, man. Commend you. It sounds like you're doing a hell of a job.
yeah, appreciate
You've
that,
gone
man.
above and beyond. You've had to put your money where your mouth is as far as going through that long ass
Hmm.
process and the many different, court proceedings.
Hmm.
And your journey is still obviously not over, because
Yeah.
even with the third baby mama, you got one on the way now.
Hmm.
How do you think that's going to go once your child gets here? I'm just curious. How do you think that situation is going to go?
Man, I'm an optimist, but also I'm an experienced realist, and
Right.
so I'm keeping my eyes peeled. Not only keeping my eyes peeled, but I'm crossing my T's and I'm dotting my I's in the event that we got to go to battle. I take meticulous notes. I have a ton of screenshots of
Perfect.
off the wall things that have been said. I got videos, recordings. I got it all, and it's unfortunately you got to
That's
be a
funny. I made a video about that last year. How you got to record everything your baby mom
yep.
does. Everything. Record
Hmm.
every single. I record every
Everything.
phone call. Any way we communicate, I'm able to say, "Look, you said this right here. This is what you
Hmm.
said."
Yeah, yeah. Because they're masterful at rewriting the story. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? So, you know, I got like I said, extensive records just in
that's
case. You
awesome.
know what I mean? So,
Good job.
you know,
Good
yeah,
job.
man. So I'm
That's
hoping it
awesome.
doesn't go that route, but if it does, hey, I guess I'll lace my boots back up. I ain't throw them away. They in the
Yeah.
back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's it.
I pray it doesn't come to that,
Yeah.
because as you know, going to court, having to constantly go the legal route, man, that shit is just exhausting.
It is. It is.
It is exhausting. It unfortunately, it's not one of those things that you have the luxury of not having the appetite to handle. You have to do it.
Yeah,
If
you
you
have
care
to.
about your child, you have to do it. You know,
Yep.
you can't let this woman just go willy-nilly trying to do what she's trying to do. So you have to just rise to the occasion for the fight. But it gets exhausting, especially when you go to one after another after another.
Yeah, it does.
So I understand why you tried to avoid that. You tried to avoid the court. I get that. I completely understand that, man.
Yeah. But the one advice I'll give to your viewers is that if you're going to be there, and if you see the writing on the wall that you're going to end up in there, strike first. Strike first. Be the plaintiff. Be the plaintiff. Don't be the defendant.
Very good advice. Very good advice. Sometimes you try to appeal to the woman's human nature. You think that they wouldn't do that. To every man who may potentially see this, never ever put anything past a woman. They will. Never. They will do that. If a woman gets to the point, especially if they become emotionally attached to you, which they generally do, especially if there's sex involved over a long period, they're gonna generally become emotionally attached to you. And once you stop or you cut off that sexual pipeline, they use the only power they have, which is that child.
Yeah.
And they will hang this child, they will dangle your own child in front of you like a damn carrot.
Yep, that's right.
Just so you can see your child, they might do some shit where, oh well, if you come over here and you lay with me, I'll let you see it. You shouldn't have to do that. I just want to be here for my child, but a woman will use the child as a pawn on a chessboard just because they want to be next to the man.
Right.
So like you said, and as I found out, as I had to find out over time, the last thing I ever wanted to do was end up in court time and time again. But the only way for me to get my rights, the only way for me to get the things that my God-given rights to my own child, my ability to be able to see my child when I want to see her without this woman saying, "Oh, you can't see her today. No, no, you won't come chill with me. No, you can't see her." Why are we having this conversation? All I care about is my daughter. I don't want to see you. I want to see her. Right. Just so we can get all of that out of the way and take that out the equation. I had to go through a lengthy battle in court. And honestly, like you said, the only thing that possibly could have been done differently is the fact that, I waited because I thought that at some point, she was going to come around as a human being, just as an adult. But that was the mistake. Thinking that this woman was going to behave like an adult. She refused to. So I had to go the legal route.
Yeah, that's right.
As a man, like you said, you have to be proactive. You had to be the one to strike first instead of waiting. Strike first, and I don't disagree with that. Yeah, you would hope you wouldn't need to, but generally, more times than not, you do. You have to.
Yeah, that's it. And again, my experience shows me that it's just not a matter of if; it's a matter of when, and it's not a matter of how you vet them or how you choose. They all have it in them. Because it's the system is set up that way for them to benefit from that type of calamity. So it's like they're going to bring it your way. They're definitely going to bring it. You just got to know
some more than others. I will say some of the things that you interpret as being sexy in the beginning, some of their personality traits that you would determine to be sexy. Oh, did I lose you? Damn, I think I lost Woody, man.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Can you hear me, Woody?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that.
Perfect. No, you good, man. You good.
Okay.
Tell you what, man, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to give you an opportunity to just give your final thoughts, man, as far as well, like I said, you've been dropping a whole lot of gems because I agree with a hell of a lot of shit you saying, and I can relate to a lot of it. But are there any other, I guess you would say, when it comes to dealing with an extremely argument?
I can hear you.
It's breaking. Okay, I think we're gonna have to make it quick. It's pouring down, it's thundering outside. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi all of a sudden. But I did
Okay.
want you to share your final thought, man. Give me some advice for the other fellas out there going through the same kind of situation, man. What do you recommend for them to do when it comes to
Okay.
these kind of when it comes to these difficult argumentative women, man? What are
Mhm.
your keys to success to
Okay.
navigate?
The three keys I would say is one, remain calm, remain stoic, be non-reactive.
Yes,
Okay. Um, two,
absolutely,
two,
absolutely.
you got to take meticulous notes of all of your interactions. All right, whether that be recording, whether that be screenshotting, text
Yes,
messages, things of that nature.
yes,
All right, and then three, to the best of your
yes,
ability, be there for the children from early on, because ultimately, as they continue to grow, they're going to be the ones that vouch for you the most. And so
exactly.
it's very difficult for a baby mama to do some of the things she wants to do when her child is in her ear saying, "Mommy, mommy, I want to see my daddy." So that's the best
That's a
advice I
fact.
can give right
That's a
there.
fact. You got to jump through the hoops.
Yep.
It's unfortunate, but as a man, you have to jump through all the damn hoops like a tiger at the circus. All the
That's
hoops the
it.
woman lays down for you, you got to jump through all of them for the sake of your child. You have to do
That's
what you
it.
have to do to show your
Yep.
child just how much you love them, how much you care about them.
hmm
Because if you don't set that groundwork right now, when it comes
hmm
years down the line, that woman twist the narrative and say that you weren't there, and that's
Yep.
never
That's
going to
it.
be acceptable.
It's
So
never going to be
I
acceptable.
completely agree with you. I completely
Yep.
agree with you, Woody. Hey
Yep.
man, I really appreciate you making out time to talk to me, Woody. I appreciate, like
Yeah,
I said, this is the
absolutely.
first one. I knew it was gonna be a little bit rough. I don't know what's going on with my connection, but I appreciate you taking. Damn man, we almost at the hour mark.
Wow.
I appreciate you taking out time, man. Stay strong
Yeah,
and
my
continue
pleasure.
being a great father to those kids, man.
My pleasure.
I
Yeah. Thanks
appreciate
a lot for having me
you,
on,
man.
man. I hope that, I can positively
Absolutely,
impact
absolutely. Hey,
your
take it
viewers and
easy,
help the
bro.
channel out, man. Yeah, absolutely. Same to you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Take care.